You don't realize it at first. That's how it begins. Not with a loud announcement, not with a sudden miracle, not with a dramatic moment where everything changes overnight. It begins quietly, deeply, almost invisibly inside your heart. One day you just feel different. You start thinking about your life more seriously. You start questioning your choices, your habits, your direction. You start feeling uncomfortable with things you used to be comfortable with. And you don't even know why. You try to ignore it. You try to distract yourself. You try to go back to the way you were before, but something inside you refuses. That feeling, that discomfort, that inner voice you cannot silence, this may be one of the first signs that Allah wants to guide you. Guidance does not start when a person becomes perfect. That guidance starts when a person becomes aware that life is not just about waking up, eating, laughing, working, sleeping, and repeating the same cycle again and again. Aware that time is moving, that years are passing, that one day you will look back and either feel peace or regret. When Allah wants to guide you, He gives you awareness before He gives you change, because awareness is what breaks the autopilot mode most people are living in. Many people are alive but not truly awake. They move, but they are not moving toward anything meaningful. But when guidance begins to touch your life, you wake up internally. You start seeing life differently. You start seeing yourself differently. One of the biggest signs that Allah wants to guide you is when you start feeling a strange emptiness after doing things that used to make you happy. You achieve something, but the happiness does not last. You go out, you laugh, you watch, you scroll, you talk, but when you are alone, you feel a silence inside you that is difficult to explain. It is not depression, it is not sadness, it is something deeper. It is as if your heart is telling you, this is not what you were created for. And that feeling is a mercy, even though it does not feel comfortable. Because some people spend their entire lives chasing temporary happiness and never once question why they still feel empty. But when Allah wants to guide you, He allows you to feel the emptiness of this world so that you will start searching for something higher, something real, something that actually fills the heart. Another sign that Allah wants to guide you is when you start spending more time alone, not because people hate you, not because you hate people, but because you are thinking, you are reflecting, you are analyzing your life, your past, your mistakes, your future. You start remembering things you did years ago. You start feeling regret for things you once thought were small. You start wanting to become a better person, even if no one is forcing you. That is a very powerful sign, because real change does not begin when people shout at you. Real change begins when your heart starts talking to you. When Allah wants to guide you, He sometimes shows you the reality of people. You may start noticing that not everyone who smiles with you actually wants the best for you. You may start noticing jealousy, competition, negativity, and hidden intentions. Not because you are better than them, but because Allah wants to protect your heart from depending on people too much. One of the steps of guidance is when you slowly stop expecting too much from people and start depending more on Allah. Now you become less desperate for people's approval. You become less affected by people's opinions. You become more focused on fixing yourself instead of impressing everyone around you. That shift is a sign, a very big sign. Another sign that Allah wants to guide you is when your sins start to hurt you. Before you could do something wrong and laugh about it, forget about it, and move on like nothing happened. But now when you make a mistake, it stays in your mind. It disturbs you. It follows you. You feel uncomfortable. You feel like you disappointed yourself. That feeling is not there to destroy you. That feeling is there to wake you up. Because the worst state a person can reach is not when they sin. The worst state is when they sin and feel nothing. When Allah wants to guide you, He does not allow your heart to become completely numb. He allows you to feel the weight of your actions so that you will slowly start changing. You may also notice that when Allah wants to guide you, He puts certain people in your life at the right time. Someone who says something small, but it stays in your mind for days. Someone who advises you in a way that touches you deeply. Someone who reminds you to become better without insulting you. These people are not accidents. Not every meeting is random. Not every conversation is meaningless. Some people enter your life because Allah wants to send you a message through them. And if you look carefully at your life, you will realize that certain words reached you at the exact moment you needed them the most. Another sign of guidance is when your goals start changing. Before, your goals were only about money, popularity, looking successful, or proving a point to people who doubted you. But now, even if you still want success, you also want peace. You also want respect. You also want to become a good person, not just a successful person. You start thinking about your character, your habits, your future, your legacy. You start asking yourself deeper questions like, what kind of person am I becoming? And if everything is taken away from me, who am I really? These are not normal questions. These are the questions that people ask when guidance is knocking on the door of their heart. When Allah wants to guide you, He also tests you, but in a different way. Not every test is a punishment. Some tests are invitations to become stronger, wiser, more patient, more humble. You may go through a period where things don't work out the way you planned. Doors close, plans fail. People disappoint you and you don't understand why. But later you realize those moments changed you. They made you less arrogant, less careless, less blind. They made you think more, pray more, reflect more, and understand life more. Sometimes the thing you call a setback is actually guidance in disguise. One of the most beautiful signs that Allah wants to guide you is when you start wanting to change. Even if change is hard, you start wanting to leave certain habits, even if they are difficult to leave. You start wanting to discipline yourself, control yourself, and become better. It even when nobody is watching you, that desire to improve is not something you created by yourself. Many people know what is right but have no desire to do it. But when Allah wants good for you, He puts the desire for change inside your heart first. And that desire is the beginning of your journey. So if you have been feeling different lately, if you have been thinking more lately, if you have been feeling uncomfortable with your old life lately, if you have been wanting to become a better person lately, do not ignore these signs. Do not distract yourself every time you start thinking deeply. Do not run away from that feeling, because maybe, just maybe, this is the moment your life is starting to change. Not from the outside, but from the inside. And when a person changes from the inside, everything on the outside eventually changes too. And the most important thing you need to understand is this: guidance is not a one-time event. It is a journey, a slow journey, a personal journey, a journey that is different for every person. Some people change bisurat, some people change slowly. Some people are guided through blessings, and some people are guided through pain. But both are guidance, both are signs that Allah has not abandoned you. Because the greatest sign that Allah wants to guide you is that you are even thinking about guidance in the first place. But here is something most people don't tell you. Guidance is not only about the feelings you experience, it is also about the opportunities you are given. Because when Allah wants to guide you, He does not just change what is inside you. He begins to arrange what is around you. situations start shifting. Certain doors close even when you desperately wanted them to open. Certain paths become blocked even when you were convinced they were right for you. And at first, it frustrates you, it confuses you, it makes you question everything again. But later, when you look back, you begin to understand that not every closed door was a loss. Some doors were closed to protect you from becoming someone you were never meant to be. You start to realizing that guidance sometimes feels like a restriction before it feels like freedom. You may feel like your life is becoming limited, like you cannot do everything you used to do, like you cannot move the same way you used to move. But that is because your heart is being refined. You are being redirected. Just like a person who is learning discipline must let go of certain distractions, you are being trained to focus on something greater than temporary satisfaction. And that process is not always comfortable. In fact, most of the time, it is uncomfortable. But that discomfort is shaping you into a version of yourself that you have never been before. Another powerful sign that Allah wants to guide you is when you begin to lose interest in showing off your life. Before, you may have cared deeply about being seen, about proving something, about making sure people noticed your achievements, your lifestyle, your progress. But now something changes. You begin to value privacy. You begin to value sincerity. You begin to realize that not everything needs to be displayed. Not every success needs an audience. You start doing things quietly, improving yourself quietly, building yourself quietly. And that shift is powerful because it means your intentions are changing. You are no longer living for people as much as you used to. You are starting to live with a deeper purpose. When Allah wants to guide you, He also gives you moments of clarity that feel almost unreal. Moments where everything suddenly makes sense. Moments where you understand your past in a way you never did before. You begin to connect the dots. Why certain things happened, why certain people left, why certain plans failed. It is as if you are seeing your life from a higher perspective. Those moments may not last forever, but they are enough to change the way you see everything moving forward. They remind you that your life has never been random, that even your confusion had a purpose. You may also notice that your patience starts growing, even if slowly. As a situation that used to make you react immediately now make you pause. You start thinking before speaking. You start controlling your emotions more. Not perfectly, not all the time, but noticeably. That is a sign of inner growth. Because guidance is not just about what you start doing, it is also about what you stop doing. The anger you control, the words you choose not to say, the reactions you hold back. These are all signs that something inside you is maturing. Another deep sign of guidance is when you begin to forgive more easily. Not because people deserve it, not because what they did was okay, but because you no longer want to carry the weight of bitterness. You start to realizing that holding on to anger only drains you, so you begin to let go, slowly. You begin to free yourself from past pain, not by forgetting it, but by refusing to let it control you. That kind of emotional strength is not something everyone has. It is something that grows when your heart is being guided. And then, there is one of the most overlooked signs of all: consistency in small improvements. You may not become perfect overnight. You may still struggle, you may still make mistakes, but you notice something different. You are trying. You are becoming more consistent in doing small good things. Small efforts that no one notices. Small changes that only you can see. And over time, those small changes begin to shape your entire life. Because real transformation is not built on one big moment. It is built on consistent small steps. At this stage, you begin to understand something very important. Guidance is not about becoming a completely different person overnight. It is about becoming a better version of yourself step by step. It is about progress, not perfection. And once you understand that, you stop being too hard on yourself. You stop expecting instant results. You start appreciating your journey, even with its ups and downs. And then comes the moment where everything connects. You realize that all those feelings you had, all that confusion, all that discomfort, all those changes in your mindset, they were not random phases, they were signs. Signs that Allah was calling you slowly, gently, patiently, not forcing you, not rushing you, but guiding you in a way that only you could understand. So what do you do now? You respond, you stop ignoring the signs. You stop delaying the change. You stop waiting for the perfect time. Because the truth is, the perfect time is the moment you realize you need to change. You take small steps. You become more intentional with your life. You protect your heart. You choose your environment carefully. You become more aware of your actions. You start building a life that aligns with the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. And most importantly, you stay humble, because guidance is not something you earn by pride. It is something you maintain through humility. The moment you start thinking you are better than others, you begin to lose the very thing that was given to you. So you stay grounded, you keep learning, you keep improving, you keep reminding yourself that you are still on a journey. Because at the end of the day, the greatest success is not how much you achieve in this world, it is who you become in the process. And if you are seeing these signs in your life right now, then understand this clearly. You are not lost, you are being guided.